Welcome to Talk Shonen. I'm Turtle.
I'm Jared. What's up, everybody?
We're here to blow your minds today with the size of our metaphysical nerd penises.
Doubly.
We're huge
Double
nerds.
penetration of nerddom right now.
We're just a gangbang of we were talking before this that like both of us could literally just spend 2 hours screaming to the void about alone, no audience, no video, just me or Jared sitting alone in a corner screaming about favorite superheroes, and so that's what we're gonna do.
That's what we're gonna do today. This podcast is going to be a little bit different from everything else because everything else is very, very prepared. Yeah. This is just our love of fandom coming to you guys. Because Rum Runners, we're a bunch of nerds here, except for Kyle. Kyle's not really much of a nerd.
Not Kyle.
But we're nerds, and we embrace that.
Yeah.
And we want to share that with you guys.
We don't have to research anything or pull up anything because I've spent my entire life researching this.
I've been preparing for this moment forever. That's what this is.
We're about to go real. This show will hopefully be real deep down the rabbit hole on like our personal fandoms and nerd thoughts.
And honestly, we would love to hear from you guys because we know that the nerd community is stronger than fucking ever now.
Oh my God.
Compared to when we were kids.
I was going to say, when we were growing up, I would have given my left nut to have the kind of like fandoms and big media exposure to the things I was nerdy about.
Did they even have cons back in like the early 90s?
I don't even know. I mean, they were still going, but not anywhere like...
Yeah, like everybody goes to cons now.
They're huge events now.
People that would have tried to kick my ass back in grade school.
Are like
like a fucking nerd. They're like, oh, I love Comic Cons because I get to see
Iron
the boobies.
Man's my favorite.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, you don't even know about alcoholic Tony Stark. Don't talk to me about Iron Man. I was his fan when he was a piece of shit. Yeah. You're Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man. And don't get me wrong, I love RDJ.
Gotta love RDJ. But I mean, were you sitting there watching the old 90s?
Oh, with the
Iron
metal
Man
theme and hammering on those.
And
was so good.
It was just like circuitry on his chest.
Random heroes they threw in that made no sense in comic book canon.
Yep. And every single one of his armors was exactly the same, just with a different color palette.
Yeah.
See, this is what we're going to be doing today.
We just already. Which one of my favorite moments from that show is the Mandarin breaks into the real Mandarin, not the bullshit from the movies. Breaks into the armory and says, "Give me the most powerful armor," because that's how he thinks.
That's
and the armory is like equipping the nuclear armor, and it puts it on him, and he's like, "Yes!" And then Tony Stark's like, "There's no nuclear armor. It's a trap," and he's like, huh? And like he can't move because he's in a coffin of iron.
Exactly.
It's hilarious.
Yep, that was a great show. We'll talk about those more.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll come up.
But today we're going specifically our favorite superheroes. So we're going to start in the DC realm.
Yep, sounds good.
And then we'll jump over to Marvel just because preferentially I like DC more.
I loved DC Comics. I still love DC Comics even though recent years DC has kind of been
the New 52 reboot and then that reboot after the New 52
reboot. The New 52, I was on board for New 52. I was like, this could be really interesting. I liked how they started people.
Mm-hmm.
And right when I was getting into it, they booted over to another reboot.
Exactly. I mean, we can definitely in another episode talk about New 52 because there were parts about New 52 that I liked specifically as a Puerto Rican male. Vibe.
Yeah, he's awesome.
I loved what they did with him there. So it's like he's not like one of my favorite superheroes, but as just for representation in the comic book world, having, a male Puerto Rican superhero was nice, and then having him not be a gang member anymore
oh my God, right?
was even better. So
that's like Vibe is like almost like a modern, this is going to sound super weird, but I'm going at this from the direction of the authors. Yeah. He's almost like a retelling of Static Shock in a way, because Static, not the actual story, has nothing to do with the same origins.
You mean like the redoing in the New 52.
The patterns they're going with, because Static Shock was this character, to anyone that doesn't know, black teenager.
I don't know how you wouldn't know Static Shock.
Static Shock's amazing. But he never got mainstream attention, but he got loads of author attention to the point where every time they had to bring in a hero from the future, they'd make Static Shock like the hero. He's the Superman of Batman Beyond's time. Like he's insanely powerful, like up there kind of thing. And they did it in all kinds of weird one-offs and shorts that you could tell like the authors loved Static Shock, and every comic he had, short run.
Yeah.
He never got a lot of main character.
Aside from the TV show, the TV
show was fire. So good.
So good.
But that was it. And it was short. It was what, 2 seasons?
But that's what sparked the community's love for him. Because they were like, this was so well done.
Yeah.
Everything about this was so well done. So that they took the comics and they were like,
DC animated has always been so good.
Oh, it's bomb.
I mean, Batman the Animated Series,
one of the greatest shows of all time, period.
Started this like trend of just amazing animation
Justice
studio
League
work.
Animated Series.
Even the Superman tie-in show was really good while it lasted. Justice League, then just Justice League Unlimited, and even
into the computer generated ones where you're looking at like the Green Lantern Corps.
One. Absolutely.
It was also freaking incredible.
That's where DC's really shined.
That's where their wheelhouse is.
I mean, the Suicide Squad side movies.
Oh, those are great.
So good.
Those are so good. I mean, they're way better than the live action.
DC has not done a very good
live action. They haven't.
They've done a couple I really enjoy, but they're not like, I really liked Aquaman.
Yeah, that was really good.
But it is the best Star Wars movie you'll see. Like it's so good.
Yeah.
But it's, it follows certain beats.
It's on that.
Yeah,
that kind of storytelling.
It definitely hit the major media perks.
That it did. All
right, so
I won't argue with you there. So, I mean, I guess me mentioning Green Lantern Corps segues perfectly into it. So, my personal favorite for DC has always and will always be Green Lantern.
And that is an A+ choice.
I mean, if I'm going to go with one, I'm going with one of the.
Who's your Green Lantern?
My Green Lantern is Hal Jordan.
Oh, buddy.
It's who I grew up with.
I should have known you liked mass murderers.
Yeah, I mean, just look at me. Just take my whole personality into account. And just go, who would you like? You'd like the guy who killed everybody.
You'd like the guy that killed like the whole core and like a city and like
most of the residents of a planet.
Yeah, that guy. That's who Jared's about. I'm on board.
Parallax.
Yeah, Parallax. Literally the entity of fear. That's Jared's whole bag right there.
Exactly. I mean, it's the reason why. I mean, and anybody who has been a follower of Green Lantern for a long time, Hal Jordan was when it went from Green Lantern was just this guy. He's a guy who's there. Look at him in his cape. That's cute. To
did you see this cape?
Remember the original Green Lantern had like the high.
That wasn't Hal Jordan. That was
no, not Hal Jordan. It was the guy before. Who was this? The one where it was more magic. Than anything.
He's like a mystical lantern. I know you're talking about. I can't think of a.
But he's still counted as the precursor.
That's true. He was the Silver Age Green Lantern.
Yep. So when you got into the Golden Age, it was Hal Jordan, and he was the one that took it from, oh, that's a cute like side character right there, to holy shit, he's a powerhouse.
Awesome. Yeah,
like this is one of the strongest members of the Justice League.
Hal Jordan was, he started as a Navy test pilot. Yeah. He was, just like. He was like
the ladies' man.
He was a man's man without being toxic masculinity.
Yeah,
like he was like just
charming.
He was just cool guy who had like a lot of willpower. That's what his Green Lantern thing.
Yep,
he was all about that will and
all about that will, no fear.
Yeah, and he really was. You're right. Hal Jordan was the one that brought Green Lanterns into the public eye as someone. This can be a main character.
Yeah,
and that's what with Hal Jordan's version because. Pre-Hal Jordan, I can't remember his name, but the Silver Age Green Lantern, I
can't believe I can't remember his name.
I know, I can't. I'm surprised.
It's because no one cared about him.
He was terrible.
That was when he can be beat by basically a pencil. That was when wood was also his...
Wood was a weakness, and yellow was a weakness.
Which, I mean, yellow, it carried over, but
they
wood
gave
stopped.
Reasons for yellow that then kind of got filtered out.
Well, that's when the emotional spectrum came into it, which is amazing. I love that concept has continued to this day, where they're like, you know what, like we could get away from it and just be like, it's just the person, but no, it's that emotional connection is what made him so good, and just the fact that there was a human being, considered generally one of the weaker species in the universe. Was born with so much willpower that anything he did was almost unbreakable.
Yeah,
that he can achieve anything that his near boundless imagination can come up with, at an extent that he can take down just cosmic level threats.
Yeah, insane.
Just because he's like, I will never give up.
Hal Jordan's whole run is what established the Lantern Corps as the galactic police.
Yeah,
like they're here to regulate the galaxy. Yeah, and establish like, lanterns have entire sectors of space. The only reason Hal is basically the only one that stays on a planet is because
they let him do that.
It's because Earth is always a shitstorm of focus of aliens and stuff like that.
What's hilarious is if you think about the galaxy that the Green Lantern Corps covers and go like it's America.
Yeah.
Earth is like Chicago. There's always something violent happening there.
Yeah.
And the person who needs to be in charge of it needs to be tough as shit.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need 5 concurrently.
Chicago private eye of lanterns in
I
that
could picture him in like a noir setting.
Oh, that'd be so good.
That would be so dope.
Green trench coat.
How have they never done this? Where they do the entire thing noir. It was just him in the trench coat. No, all black and white.
Yeah.
The only color is the ring in any construct he makes.
Yeah.
Yo, DC, get on that.
Yeah, gotta be banging.
Get up. Like, yo, hashtag Green Lantern
Green
Noir.
Yeah, Green Noir.
There we go. Let's get that done.
But so yeah, Hal Jordan is definitely plus. I'm more of a Kyle Rayner guy, but I liked his personality more.
He had a great personality. Plus, also his was legitimately boundless creativity.
Also, given all of the power in the universe, he didn't murder a whole lot of people,
and he did legitimately get all of the power in the universe.
There's a period of time he was Ion, where he was a god tier being.
Yeah.
He was in multiple places at all times. He was solving threats the Justice League didn't even know about.
Yeah, he was omniscient. He was omnipresent. He had galactic level powers.
And invading, like one of the like little brief parts was like this invading army, and he just like showed up and like it's a galactic force. They're gonna like wipe out the
it's an armada.
The Milky Way or whatever.
Yeah.
And he just goes, bye, and they're gone. They're just sent away.
Yeah,
and like the Justice League are bringing it up. They just found out about it. Superman's talking about it and Kyle Rayner's like,
"Nah, I got
it."
Yeah,
and they're just like, "What?" And he's like, "I sent them away," and they're just like, "What?" Like,
and that's why the moniker of Green Lantern is a whole should always be considered one of the best.
Yeah.
It's just because anybody who has it is incredible. Okay. Kyle Rayner, I do love Kyle Rayner. I love him as a Lantern in general.
Yeah,
because he's the only one to ever. He's the master of the spectrum.
Oh yeah, he's the only one to harness
be able to do that.
All of the emotional spectrum.
Hal Jordan was just the strongest willpower.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
then the strongest fear.
Yeah,
he had no middle ground.
He was an extremist when it came to those things.
Yeah. I mean, like,
not to belittle like Jon Stewart, who was just a genius.
Jon Stewart is a G in every single way.
Or Guy Gardner, who gets a lot of crap, but was a lot of fun to read.
He was a funny character.
He was a fuckboy.
But that's not... He was hilarious. Like, that doesn't make... You can't compare... Especially since he followed Jon Stewart.
Yeah.
You can't follow Jon Stewart with fuckboy Guy Gardner.
But he did come into his own later on. The whole thing with Guy Gardner becoming an Alpha Lantern.
Yeah.
And, like... I think it's Alpha Lanterns. Or the Omega Squad or whatever it's called. Yeah. Where he basically... Guy Gardner, so here's the thing about Guy Gardner. Guy Gardner had Hal Jordan levels of will. He was just morally gray.
Yeah.
He was more of an asshole. He didn't really care about a certain, like, politeness that some people did.
Yeah.
But he ended up filling in because he was so insanely, like, moral just in his own way. Like, what was right and what wasn't right.
He had his moral compass,
He ended up becoming the ideal candidate for the police of the Green Lanterns. Like, the lanterns that police other lanterns. I think they were Omega or Alpha, something like that.
And that's always been the issue with the Green Lantern Corps is that within its own ranks, due to the fact that you're in charge of so much space, you're out there by yourself, you have such ridiculous power. The chances of you just being like...
Another Sinestro.
I should just kind of run shit around here. It's too tempting for any creature to just be like, I have the power of the universe on my fist.
Yeah.
And nobody else is around because I'm the only person that's supposed to be here.
Exactly.
Like, it's gonna happen. So and it's the Lanterns tried it originally with what are they called? Oh,
the Red Sentinels or whatever, right?
The robot people that they built. I can't remember their name.
They were like red something, weren't they? They were.
Well, no, I thought they were. I know their faces were purple.
Oh, I thought they. Maybe I'm mixed up something.
But when they tried to make those originally, I think they were just called Manhunters, weren't they?
They might have been Manhunters or something like that.
Yeah, something along those lines. But those, were a way to, do the job of the core first. And then they were like, all right, well,
they didn't have compassion.
They don't have the compassion. Why don't we have people do it? And they're like, well, why don't we use them to keep an eye on this? And then they were like, no, they're shitty at that even.
Yeah, they're terrible. They're just terrible.
Yeah, they're just bad. We made a mistake in making those. And they were like, oh shit, they're too powerful to even destroy until my boy Hal Jordan came through and fucked them up.
All right, so I see your Green Lantern.
Yeah,
and I recognize I love Green Lantern.
Okay.
But I'm going to throw in an...
Are you going to raise me here?
I'm going to raise you.
Okay.
I'm going to raise you who is, I think, canonically a better hero.
Okay.
The Flash.
I can't argue that the Flash is not the great. Who is your Flash? And that's the great thing about comics, that we have to ask those questions after everything.
Specifics. Yeah. Okay. So, oh man, I am a Wally West guy.
Okay, I will agree with you there.
Comics Flash is
Barry Allen's great.
Oh, I love Barry,
but Wally
and Jay Garrick had
amazing.
his Silver Age. Jay Garrick was awesome. But Wally West is what made the Flash really reach me.
Yeah.
And one of those, we're gonna throw in another thing from the animated thing.
Let's go.
One of the greatest Flash moments of all time.
Gotcha.
To show you who he was as a person, as a hero, Wally West. Although, it was Wally in the Justice League.
The original Justice League was Barry.
Was it Barry in that one?
It was Barry.
Well, they did Barry very much like Wally West from the comics.
Okay, yeah.
Batman and him go to this villain, this rogue bar. They're trying to find something. Joker has bombs in the city.
Joker always got bombs,
some arbitrary team up. Someone's going to blow up the city. And they come across the Flash's rogue, the Trickster.
Yeah. Who's basically just the Joker.
Who's basically Joker light.
Yeah.
And was played by Mark Hamill in the live action show and voiced by him.
I just realized you said Joker light. That was a good one. Yeah.
Well, he is. It's
Diet Joker.
Diet Joker. Joker but medicated.
Yeah.
So, and that's what he gets there, and Batman goes to interrogate the Trickster.
Yeah.
And picks him up and is very Batman about, tell me where the bombs are. And
where's Harvey Dent?
Tell me where the other drugs are going.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. And Barry or Flash, Wally, I think you're right. I think it's Barry.
I think in the animated it's Barry.
But he's like, whoa, Batsy, stop. I'll handle this. He's my rogue. I got this. And Batman's like, kind of sulks, puts his arms in his cape.
Does Batman stuff.
Yeah. And Barry sits down at the bar with the Trickster and is like, I can't remember the Trickster's real name, so I'm just going to throw something in there. It's like, hey, Bill. And he's like, hey, Flash. And he's like, are you not taking your meds anymore? And he's like, no, Flash. And he's like, come on, I thought we talked about this, buddy. And he's like, I know, I'm sorry.
A therapy session right there.
And the Flash is like, so where are the bombs? And he's like, oh, they're over at the pier, wherever they are, whatever he said. And he's like, now what are you going to do? And he's like, I'm going to finish this beer and I'm going to go back to the asylum. And he's like, and take my meds. And he's like, thanks, buddy. And he's like, you got me again, Flash. And starts drinking his beer. And Batman is like just traumatized. He doesn't even
it's the detective versus the social worker at that point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Batman is like the street thug and Barry is the social worker in that situation. And it's just
it's like if the social worker was also the most powerful person in like the universe.
There's such a juxtaposition of like how someone can deal with their criminals.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the Flash has probably one of the most diverse rogue.
So there's all kinds of studies on it because the Flash has more rogues, more diverse, with more levels of power.
Yeah.
He has more than any of them.
The only person, he's like the Spider-Man of DC.
The only person that has a more powerful rogues gallery is Superman.
But that's
because it's Superman.
You have to take things into
always some god tier galactic threat because it's Superman.
Because if he flicks his finger at anything less than that, they're dead.
If he accidentally elbows someone while walking by, he's murdered the Trickster.
How have they never had Superman fart?
Oh my god!
I feel like that has to be an event every time it happens.
What if? Well, so okay, here's the thing with Superman. One of his things is he can adjust and control things. So, like, the reason he can wear glasses, and they're actually prescription glasses, is his eyes can adjust to the bad.
Yeah.
The difference, the prescription, that's how they adjust for it. So if someone steals his glasses and puts them on, it looks like he has terrible eyesight because his eyes can still see through it.
Yeah.
his body, he has massive control over his body.
Mhm.
That's a whole thing with Superman. He can control, like, he's super regulated.
Yeah.
What
he
if
has to be, because if he opens a door and doesn't regulate his
just
strength,
tears off a wall.
Yeah, tear off the wall.
If he like stubs his toe on a desk, he could send it at Mach 10 through somebody's face.
Yeah, he would kill 100,000 people.
Yeah, 1 million people dead because Superman sneezed the wrong way and took out all of downtown.
Yeah.
But
which actually what's hilariously is that's actually gone over in the comics. Like
really,
there are comics that kind of highlight that Superman's constant struggle to like hold back.
Speaking on Superman's constant struggle to hold back, when I was a little kid, of course, I loved Superman because I was a little kid. My friends were Batman fans, and I wanted to be different.
I gotta be different.
Yeah, and it was so cool because everyone loved Batman, and I was like,
I need to be angsty, but like they pick the angsty guy, so I have to be
I gotta pick the Boy Scout,
good old American boy.
So, but then I got over Superman as I got older because it's but then I read the novelization of a death of Superman.
It was classic,
which is amazing. It's amazing.
It's one of the best comics I've ever read.
And I read the novelized book and the comics and whatever. Getting into the mindset of someone that is so focused on not murdering everyone around him by accident.
Yeah.
And seeing how much he holds back everything.
Yeah.
And like his struggles of doing it, and like that changed incredible. My whole perspective on.
I used to hate Superman because I was just like, it's too easy for him.
Yeah.
But then I read, I read other comics where it kind of showed, mentally where he was at and trying to restrain himself.
Yeah.
In like the times where he was afraid to go full out, but he's like, I need to go full out. Like, so that whole thing. And I understand him more, and I can respect him as a character, which ties back into the Flash, because because for like my favorite, Green Lantern, he can take off the ring. He's a normal guy. Then. Yeah. He's just, he's more than a normal guy because he's a fighter pilot. But, but
the Flash
for the Flash, he's always the Flash, and he's always capable of moving at a speed that can break reality.
He literally, there's been moments in the comics where he loses focus and realizes that he's now accelerated his brain thinking so much that the world has stopped around him. Like he's that, like, he time dilates himself. He's accelerated so fast by accident.
Well, didn't Wally West save an entire city from a nuclear bomb as it was going off?
Yeah.
And he evacuated, I think it was, I think there was like almost 500,000 people in the city or something like that.
Because he didn't have to worry about collateral damage to the streets and buildings.
Yeah.
So he could just go full speed, tilt through, and take everyone out of it. And then what was left of the city after he ran through it was then nuked by the nuke.
Yeah.
So he just did it. And that's the thing too, is back to his rogues gallery. There's constant instances of Wally West fighting multiple rogues at the same time across different points of the city, like stopping a bank robbery by Captain Cold, by doing this thing by Firebug, he's at like 6 different rogues.
Gorilla Grodd over here.
Yeah, like doing a bunch of stuff and helping a woman get her cat out of a tree.
Yeah.
And cleaning up the streets, like literally cleaning up garbage from the streets, and like hitting a Chinese buffet and eating like, like
he has to. His metabolism is super high.
And he has like deals with them where they're like, he'll like blow in and like drop like a honey and then like eat a fortune.
Everything that they have prepared.
Like, there's a breeze and then their buffet is wiped out. Like that's what these people see. And this is all happening like daily. Meanwhile, he's also working his job as like, whichever one, police.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going with Barry Allen, he's CSI basically,
or artist, or whatever, whichever one. I can't remember what the jobs were, but
there's so many.
There's a bunch, and depending on who's writing it,
that's
the other thing with stuff like details, like life details. One author changes up what Wally West does to what Barry Allen does to what
they make it kind of line up.
Yeah,
because in all actuality, Barry Allen was a genius. Investigator, crime scene, investigator, and everything like that. And then, forensic scientist, I guess. Yeah. And Wally West was a genius scientist.
Yeah, just scientist.
He is just
a beast.
Just really fucking smart.
Wally West had the benefit of, and this came up in the show or in the comics or both, that Barry Allen, when he'd read stuff at super speed, he'd retain it for like 10, 20 minutes. So he could use it, but then he'd have to reread it later on.
Because he's a smart guy. He's not a genius.
He's not a genius. Wally West could retain everything he read.
Yeah.
And he could retain stuff he did at super speed. So there's moments where he like pissed off and went to the Library of Congress, read it.
Yeah.
The Library of
the
Congress.
Whole Library of Congress.
And then like made from scratch his friction-proof suit.
Yeah.
And like stuff like that. Like he did that a lot.
Because didn't Wally West...
He came from the future in the...
Well, no, he made himself. Like he's like he...
Wasn't he Impulse first?
No, that was Bart Allen.
Oh, you're right. That was Bart Allen.
It's Barry's grandson. Grandson, yeah.
He came from the
future. Yeah, he
Bart
was
Allen.
Impulse, and then he took the moniker of like, you know, Kid Flash and things like that. And then he became the Flash.
It's so hard to keep track of everything too, because like we were saying in the beginning, the stories change depending on if it's old school, new 52, new 52.
Yeah, the new
or whatever. This keeping track of
all of that shit, just trying to balance it, especially with the whole, we didn't even know we were going to make an episode today. We were just like, we're going to do it. We have time, we're going to do it.
Kyle was late. He's got a family. Yeah. So we were like, well, let's just film this one.
Yeah. So this is with zero, all of this information we're throwing out is with, we haven't even looked on the computer for anything. This is just pure memory.
I spent a week prepping for Dark Rum on watching videos and reading things. And then we were like, okay, totally completely unrelated, something different. Stuff I haven't looked into or read a comic of in months.
Honestly, I haven't read a comic in like a year and a half.
Oh my God, it's probably been around that time for me.
Yeah.
It's probably been...
I looked at one briefly when I was working at Barnes & Noble.
Yeah,
because I was like, I have them at my disposal. So it was like, you know, after a shift real quick, I was putting stuff away and I was in the comics and I was like, oh, hey, look, I haven't read that one. I picked up Green Lantern Corps and I was like, hey, let me flip through real quick and see what I haven't seen in a couple of years.
Those are the best. I used to spend so much time at Barnes & Noble reading graphic novels.
You don't even have to buy them at that point. That's what's great.
Pick them up. You'd go grab them. I'd go buy like a coffee and sit in the cafe and power through a couple graphic novels like on my days off.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. I haven't done that at least 6 months.
Nobody has time for it anymore.
Well, and that,
COVID. Yeah.
But also just no time. Most of what I've been getting is like, if I can find novelizations of stuff that are like audiobook, I listen to those a lot.
I mean, I don't want to say that I do this, but I do sometimes look at them online, you know, from less than legal sources. You know, I may or may not do that.
There's one you should if you like Spider-Man.
When you gotta read a comic, you gotta read a comic. So
there's a bunch of stuff like that you know, I've had like comics that have been passed down from friends.
Yeah,
I've given over like anytime there's someone that's interested in comics.
I don't have any of my comics.
I just give them away. Yeah, just hey, you want? Oh, you never read and they're expensive. Graphic novels are expensive. And getting into comics is really hard. Well, here,
like I have Court of the Owls. I have Court of Owls upstairs, and that was like that was stupid. And I wanted to get the one with the mask.
Oh yeah, and that was even more. That was like 45.
Yeah, it's like $50, and I was like, nope, not doing that. Yeah. Just gonna get the regular one.
I had the entirety of Civil War from Marvel.
Oh, and that was
so
many volumes.
It was this many comics, and I read them multiple times, and I loved Civil War in the comics and in the movie, but it's different.
That's going to be another episode.
That's a whole nother episode we can go into. Yeah. But I had a friend that was like, oh, I'd love to, but they're all expensive and I don't have time to just sit at Barnes & Noble or whatever. Yeah. And I was like, here you go.
I had a friend give me his digital copy of Old Man Logan.
Oh, it's so
because
good.
Like I just didn't have the money at the time. And he was like, hey, I got this when I got the hardcover. He's like, so just take it. Yeah. So I read Old Man Logan
it's so
digitally.
Good. Yeah.
And that was...
You want to hear the greatest find I ever made?
Go for it.
Thrift store. I gave my friend my friend Christy is a bigger Batman fan than any of you probably. I'm almost certain. I'm a big Batman fan.
Yeah.
That was growing up. Her thing was Batman.
Yeah. Everybody has that escape.
And I found at a thrift store that I bought for $5 the leather-bound Frank Miller Dark Knight series.
Holy shit!
This is a
$5.
$5 at a thrift store. It had a little bit of something sticky on the cover that I used like warm soapy water.
Goo Gone and make that shit
wiped it right off. No problem. I gave it to my friend as like a birthday present.
I don't even know how much that would be.
It's the
leather bound ones.
The leather bound
because those are limited.
Yeah, it's a limited edition. Leather bound compendium of the whole Dark Knight from Frank Miller. And by the way, I read it. It's so good. Every time I go to a thrift store, I hope beyond like that I find something else like that.
You're like, I have to do it.
I need to find another one. Yeah.
maybe I'll find a Superman #1 in
Yeah,
here.
something like
Fucking $1,000 comic.
Yeah, right. I don't think it's $1,000, but I know it's probably like 200 or something like that now. But,
Superman #1 I know is
Superman #1 is up there. I was thinking the Frank Miller.
Oh yeah, no, but I mean that's still like I think the leatherbound one would probably be like a couple $100.
Maybe
somewhere around. Probably like $125, $130.
It's totally possible.
Yeah,
I'd have to like
leather-bound books alone are like $30, $40.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But that was my greatest comic find, and I found other graphic novels at thrift stores that like.
I've never found a single comic at a thrift store.
They never organize it right, so it's always digging through a bucket at the bottom of the shelf.
Oh my God.
And you're like,
I'd be like, you guys don't know what you have here.
What time do we got?
We're currently at 32 minutes.
Wow, I feel like we just started.
I know, right? And we've just hit DC at this point.
I would say we should transfer over to Marvel.
Let's say so. I started with DC. I'll let you start with Marvel.
I'll start with Marvel.
Let's see here.
This is a hard one.
Especially since, like, we mentioned our DC favorites before this.
Yeah.
I have no idea who your Marvel favorite is, and you don't know mine either.
I gotta say, I'm gonna be pretty standard, middle of the road. Everyone knows this. I love Spider-Man.
Okay. All right. So you have a very mainstream one.
I know. Look, I've not always been a Spider-Man fan. And to be fair,
as an arachnophobic for a long time, I hated Spider-Man.
Oh, God.
But it's like, it's impossible to fucking hate Spider-Man.
He's amazing.
You can't not like Spider-Man.
There's a reason he's been so mainstream for so long. He's amazing.
He's the perfect superhero if you think he has a really, really useful and good set of abilities. He's got a genius level intellect, and he's got real world problems that he handles like a real person.
Every man. He's not a billionaire playboy.
Yeah.
He's not
even a man for most of it.
He's a boy.
Child.
He's a high schooler who has the weight of the world thrown on his shoulders.
I want anybody listening that has a teenager in their life, imagine that person is now in charge of saving New York City.
Yeah, it's insane.
Think of all the stupid shit that's gone through their heads and out of their mouths, or your own heads and your own mouth when you were 15 years old. And now be like, oh, wait, if I don't do something, every single person that I know is going to die. Right. And I'm the only person that can do something about it.
And he always has this tragic start of he didn't do something. His uncle died.
The one time he didn't do something.
He gets the powers. He shirks responsibility to begin with. Immediate
goes for the cash.
Karmic repercussion.
Yeah, the universe was not fucking around, as they would say.
One of the reasons why I like Spider-Man is karmically, Spider-Man cannot be doing well. His role in the Marvel universe is to be shit on.
Is always to be upset.
And he is, like you were saying, like he's a genius. He is power level wise one of the most powerful.
Yeah, he stopped the Hulk. Well, my favorite way that he stopped the Hulk was by making him laugh.
Yeah,
but that was aside from that. But strength level wise, he can hold back like a Hulk punch.
He's not the strongest, but he is more acrobatic than almost all of them. He has a precognitive ability that is unrivaled.
Broken.
Yeah, it is a broken power. Depending on what story arc you're reading, if he's got
it can go
stingers
from a punch to I could sense something about to become a visible threat in like an hour.
Canonically,
yeah,
he is never caught unmasked or changing because his spider sense warns him about threats. There's a whole comic on how OP broken his spider sense is. Yeah. Like, he always wakes up before his alarm because it senses a threat. He always wakes...
Because your alarm is always a threat.
And it's always like 30 seconds before he just goes, he's like, damn it.
Yeah.
Every day, he knows, he always knows when he's being watched, if he's going to take off his mask, which is why he never gets caught unmasked.
Makes
because
sense.
it doesn't just sense, this is why it's broken.
Yeah.
His spider sense doesn't just sense physical threats. Yeah. It senses
anything he would perceive
emotional
as a threat.
threats and other things. So if he invested, this is one of those things. He's been proven to do this. If he can invest a lot of money into something, his spider sense will warn him if the market's gonna tank. And it's like insider trading, and so he won't do it because he's morally against it.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of like level his precognitive abilities are.
Yeah, that's why I say broken.
Oh, it is 100%.
It is the most OP.
On top of being physically able to take punches from the Hulk, stand in that weight class, if not right on it, at least not die immediately like almost everyone else would.
99% of the human race would die immediately if the Hulk waved at them the wrong way.
Right? And not even counting like the web shooters, which, depending on the comic, once again, are either biological or manufactured by his genius.
And I'm assuming when you say Spider-Man, you're talking about Peter Parker.
I'm, of course, referring to Peter Parker. Don't get me wrong.
Miles Morales is dope.
Miles Morales is so awesome. And his power set is the best. He just got he got all of the good and then an upgrade with the stinger and the...
And he didn't even have to invent the web shooter.
No, yeah.
Because Peter Parker was like, hey, here's a cool thing.
Yeah. Oh, I love Miles Morales. And Miles Morales is the... So here's why Miles Morales works in the comics, just as a side tangent.
Okay, yeah.
Spider-Man is the hero that's supposed to be shit on. Yeah. And he is for a long time. But he got too popular.
I'm going to say... in the comics, at least, all the time.
Oh, always.
He never stops getting shit on by the universe.
It is constant shittery.
I just got married.
Yeah.
No,
so they got to a point where they couldn't give Peter... They wrote themselves into corners because you couldn't give him a good progressive story arc without people expecting it to turn into shit. And so they killed him.
Yeah.
And
that's all you can do.
Yeah, they murdered him, and Miles Morales was... the next step. And Miles Morales, although struggled and had shit, wasn't wrote into the corner that Peter Parker was. So can progress.
The great thing about Miles is that he has, if you look at it from an outside perspective, family-wise.
Oh, yeah.
He's one of the few superheroes that has a good family.
A mom and dad that love and care for him.
He has a really good and that actually makes
parental abuse is a staple of superheroes.
Or just death.
Yeah, or death. Yeah, lots of death.
Parental abuse or death is that staple. And to have someone as iconic as the new Spider-Man go, what if he just has a really good...
What if he has a caring mom?
A really good family life.
And a cool dad.
A dad that just wants to be part of his life and really cares about him.
And he's just an angsty teenager that's leave me alone.
Yeah, but then at the same point, it works because unlike most superheroes where it's I need to find love and I need to make new friends in order to have that, he has the ultimate stakes because he's protecting his family's neighborhood.
Yeah.
He knows that if he screws up, one of the first people to die is going to be his parents.
Also, he is routinely threatened by Nick Fury. There's a whole thing about Nick Fury just calling him. And by the way, unlike in the movies, when Nick Fury calls you, the call answers. You can't reject it.
Yeah.
It's a shield thing.
There's no ghosting Nick Fury.
And so Nick Fury will routinely call him and be like, "How's that burrito? You better keep clean." And he's just like, "I'm trying, sir. Please don't murder me."
Yeah. I do like how they kind of took some of that over into the Marvel universe with how he's going with Peter. Where he's just kind of I see everything you're doing.
Yeah.
I know what you're doing. You're gonna do the right thing, right?
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. Which is why I like the fact that they went with Tom Holland, who, even though he's in his 20s, right?
Oh, now he is. When they started, though, he was 18?
But he still looks
he still looks
a
young.
15-year-old.
But he's also a gymnast.
Yeah.
Which worked out really well for shooting and
he did a backflip in his his reading.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He was just straight. He was like, I can do a backflip. And they were like, do it.
Oh man.
Yeah, but no, when people think of Spider-Man, they think of Peter, and only now because of how amazing Into the Spider-Verse was, which I can't.
Oh, it was so good! I cannot wait for the next
sequel.
I rewatch it all the time. It was so artistically, story-wise, the whole thing was bomb-tastic amazing.
Do you know why that looks so amazing? I just saw this because I was watching a special or I was watching a video on Corridor Crew where they were reacting, they had an animator on, and they were reacting to it, and he said why it looks the way that it does. Did you know that they hand drew
Shut up.
over those accents that look like comic book stuff?
Yeah.
Those were hand done.
That's insane.
Digitally, of course.
Yeah,
but someone went in and they were like, okay, he has wrinkles right there.
Oh my god!
To give it that
had to be
level of depth.
Can you imagine? You had to find the most OCD Just the artist that's standing there going like, oh yeah, I'll draw lines over other pictures for 6 weeks straight.
Yeah. And you're talking about, like, I just be like, okay, so I've been working for 6 weeks. How much did you get done? I got a 4 minute.
I got a 4 minute.
I got
clip
a 4
done.
minute stretch done.
Yeah.
Be like, you've been working 13 hours a day. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I would have had 5 minutes, but I took a lunch one day.
Yeah, I took a lunch. I went to the bathroom twice this week. I'm really sorry about that.
I would have got those.
I drank coffee a month ago, so I had to let it out.
Yeah, I would have got that other minute.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that. But yeah, that's why it's
insane.
Everything about that movie was great because it was everything that this generation that grew up with Peter Parker Spider-Man has seen Spider-Man and all the iterations that it has. They needed something that spoke to them.
Yes.
And Miles Morales really speaks to this younger generation more than
they also
how Peter
did
spoke to us.
The tribute to all of the others we've like the older, abused, shit upon Peter Parker.
He was amazing.
With his opening scene being one of the funniest movie scenes I've seen in years, of just getting trailed along by webbing, hit into a snowman, rammed onto a train, plowed by cars, just boom, 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 over. And that is the best intro for Peter Parker, because that is his story.
Yeah.
His
that
story
is the Peter Parker that we know. The one that would have lost his wife, would have lost Aunt May, would have lost everything, would have spiraled into a depression, but still been like,
I have to be Spider-Man.
I'm fucking Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Let's
and then his
let's put on the
first meeting
spandex.
with his replacement is just being physically abused.
He's basically
by him.
being tased.
Yeah.
He's tased and then dragged along unconscious.
Oh, it's so
and then
good.
Tied up.
Oh,
and interrogated.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But I mean, at the same point in that movie, another great thing was the not broken.
Oh, yeah,
Peter Parker, where he's doing the
blonde hair.
Yeah, where he's doing the freaking Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, well, that was the broken Peter.
No, that was the not broken Peter, because that was when his life was good.
Oh, that's right.
Because he was like, yeah, we don't talk about that part.
Yeah,
and then he talked about how he was just winning.
They gave you like what if Peter Parker did the right. Didn't get shit on his whole life.
Yeah.
They gave you that one for Miles Morales' universe.
Yep.
And then they gave
that's
you
the one,
our Peter.
Yeah, that's the one that you lose.
Yeah.
You lose the one that was great.
He's dead. He's gone. Yeah. And then the one that's shit on and overweight and lost Mary Jane and all of these other things.
That's who we got.
That's who we had.
We have
that's
one.
who we grew up with. Aunt May's dead, and Mary Jane left him and probably has cancer from his radioactive semen, but they don't talk about that.
They never talk about that.
And all kinds of other stuff.
Superhero sex is always glanced over.
Oh, yeah.
We'll talk about superhero sex in another episode.
Yeah. But like, we should definitely put that down.
Definitely.
But so like, that's the one that like becomes his mentor and that we grew up with, that's passing the torch, is shit upon abused brown-haired Peter Parker.
Because at the end of the day, Peter Parker is like Rocky.
Yeah.
Where it doesn't matter how often you get knocked down. Mm. The only important thing in the end is that you stand back up and you keep swinging. Right.
Yeah.
That's
so not to detract what you're saying, but we've just gone onto a rant about Spider-Man, which was my choice for a while.
Oh, yeah,
now.
go for it.
So what's your...
Great thing about it is it stays in the same wheelhouse.
Okay.
My favorite, and has been my favorite for pretty much since I was a child, has been Daredevil.
Oh, he's good.
Another defender of New York.
Another street level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I've always loved about Daredevil. Daredevil was never because in DC, I have my galactic cop favorite.
Yeah.
And then on Marvel, I'm just like, I like the dude that's just in his neighborhood.
Yeah.
And he has a power set where it's just, I'm really good at kicking people's asses.
I'm just a really good blind street brawler.
And I can hear, see 360 degrees at all times.
Yeah.
So good luck sneaking up on me. Kyle loves to shit on me every time that I mention Daredevil because he's always like, so loud noises is the thing. And I'm like, Daredevil he's come up with ways to drown it out. It needs to be like a targeted sound attack because he can drown out outside noise.
He's also led like the League of Shadows and a bunch of other stuff. He's done.
Yeah. I mean, the Avengers have constantly been like, please join. And he's like, Nah. He's like, I don't do that big shit.
He cares about the people. I'm on board with that. I get that.
Yeah, and just Matt Murdock as the fact that his secret identity is one, very public.
Yes. Yeah.
And two, is also in its own right still trying to save people. And it's just when that doesn't work, he's like,
now I beat someone to death.
Now I'm going to beat the shit out of you.
Yeah. I
mean, depending on what you're going with, it's if he kills you or not.
Daredevil wouldn't make my list only because I really hate how he's depicted personality-wise in a lot of comics.
Yeah.
There's some that he's amazing and I'm on board with.
I mean, if you're going Frank Miller, Man with No Fear.
Oh my God, amazing. I love it.
That's what made me go, yeah, this is by far my favorite. Because before that, it was Gambit. Gambit was my favorite when I was growing up.
Oh, Gambit's cool.
But my second was Daredevil. And then when I read Frank Miller's Man with No Fear, I was like, nah, Daredevil's my favorite.
He's pretty boss.
Yeah. Which is why I'm glad they did the Netflix series like that.
He's often depicted especially in the like join up stuff like you're talking about, like when Avengers and things like that.
It's because he's so like
he's an asshole.
Yeah, he's a dick because he's like, I don't want to be part of your club.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you look at it in a real world setting, and he's one of the more real
definitely
superheroes, especially in Marvel.
Yeah.
Because Marvel, everything is so over the top.
Marvel is insane, yeah.
it's like everything's a galactic level threat.
Yeah, you never know who's a clone or a life body decoy or whatever.
Exactly. So since everything is so over the top in Marvel, to have somebody that, like, the Defenders in general, just every single one of them, that will literally sit there and just be like, I don't want to be part of your club where collateral damage in the big scheme of things is fine.
Which, by the way, the Defenders in the show and the original Defenders in the comics, drastically different.
Yeah, very different.
The Defenders in the comics were all mystical. So Avengers were like aliens and technology.
Yep.
Defenders were magic. They were like Doctor Strange, the Hulk.
Yeah.
I think Iron Fist.
Which, oh my God! Please tell me we're gonna do a Doctor Strange versus Doctor Fate episode at one point.
There's no competition. Doctor Strange is the shit.
Oh, see, I'm a Doctor Fate fan.
Oh, we gonna fuck around.
Look forward to that one.
Oh, that's gonna be it. That's future episode. Doctor Strange versus Doctor Fate, and how Jared's wrong.
I mean, just because he doesn't have a movie. It's probably because they can't contain the
which Dr. Fate are you talking about?
greatness.
Dr. Fate where he was relevant, or Dr. Fate where he was a fuckboy surfer that was possessed by the mask?
Where he's relevant.
Sure. Okay, yeah, so of course you pick that one. Do you want to ignore
the levels of mystical strength that he has?
The levels of mystical
insane.
Strength that the mask has.
Very
Doctor
true.
Strange is powerful. Dr. Fate is possessed by power.
Exactly.
Oh my
God.
God.
He is living
This is not
power.
the episode.
It's living
later.
Power. Okay.
Later.
On the flip side, Daredevil, blind guy. He's
just
a
totally
blind guy.
no magic whatsoever.
He's just a blind guy that got the Ninja Turtles goo in his eye.
Oh yeah, that's right. It was the Ninja Turtles goo. That's canonically true.
Yeah, it's the ooze.
Oh man.
So he got, what was it? CN? Is it CN21?
Something like that.
I'm trying to remember.
The same goo that made him is the same one that made the Ninja Turtles. It's like the same canister and everything.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I'm blanking on the Ninja Turtles movies.
Yeah, that's so rough. I can't remember.
Fuck. Oh my God. Oh, my friend Mark's gonna fucking kill me that I can't remember.
I can't remember either, but I've never been that big into.
But so he's just a guy that gives a shit about, at the lowest level, the people that are walking down the street.
I'll give him that. Is that like his argument is the same as Spider-Man's, which why they go kind of hand in hand to that. Like,
they work together well.
Oh, they work together great. They like each other.
Yeah.
But they want to protect the people.
Yeah.
Iron Man is about defending the world
as a whole. Yeah.
He's got this raw, broad spectrum idea of what to do, and kind of truthfully tends to let the little guy fuck off most of the time.
Yeah. He's like, if I save the world, the little guys will be fine. Well, what about the little guy that got crushed under that building that you shot with your arc laser?
What about the
that
little
was
guy?
An empty building.
Yeah, an empty building in the middle of New York.
Yeah,
okay,
that happens all the time, Tony.
Yeah, there's no collateral damage with Iron Man.
Yeah, none.
Well, that's why, like in the comics, where people get their alignment switched at one point, pretty recently, no one could tell with him because he like it kind of went undiagnosed for a long time because he was just kind of like he was an asshole. And he cared about people less, but he is in the middle about caring with people so much that he went from like say Superman's up here for caring for people.
Ready? Easiest way to do it. You do D&D alignment.
Oh yeah, so
Superman, lawful good.
Yep.
You have Tony Stark being a pretty
chaotic,
much like he's like a chaotic good on a good day.
Yeah.
And when he goes evil, he's like chaotic neutral.
Yeah. It was not a drastic swing.
Yeah.
And it's when he had the symbiote armor.
Yeah.
And no one he started doing all the shit and people were like, Tony's
I can see him doing that though.
They're like, Tony's just being, really progressive.
He's under a lot of stress.
Yeah, it just didn't seem that weird at first.
Yeah, but like anytime Daredevil switches, because he becomes a murderer.
He becomes, every time Daredevil switches, he takes over entire criminal organizations and murders his way through so many
Which is
people.
What is insane about him. He's literally just a guy that has super hearing for the most part, and because of that has trained his body to the point where it's a perfect weapon. And he just goes, you know what? If I really want it, I can fight you guys, or I can join you and become your boss. What do you want me to do?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is, like, he can murder people so easily because he can hear where their specific arteries are.
Yep.
And pop them with a finger.
Yeah.
Pow! Dead.
Yeah.
Like, you're now bleeding out internally. Who's next?
Yep.
That's who Daredevil is.
Yeah. And the fact that, with his billy club, he can fucking ricochet that shit off the ground.
The kind of physics he breaks like Captain America.
Yeah. It's like hearing good doesn't give you that, that ability, asshole.
It's insane. He has definitely got like enhanced reflexes and things like that.
They say that because of the fact that he can't see and due to the fact that it wasn't natural, it was it's the chemical enhanced his hearing and then enhanced his balance and it enhanced that caused a superhuman level increase to his agility and his strength because he doesn't basically his body doesn't know when to stop. It just keeps going past its limit. There's reasons why they do it, but at the end of the day, he's still just a blind kid from Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah,
that went through some really bad shit and doesn't want that to happen to anybody else.
Yeah.
Plus, it's the devil motif. It's just cool as shit.
Now, that being said, who's your favorite comic to read? Because that's not necessarily the same as your favorite. Daredevil writers kind of switch hands pretty regularly.
Plus, also, I've hated some of the storylines, like the whole San Diego storyline.
Yeah, it's not good.
Or no, San Francisco storyline.
No, I know what you mean.
That was horse
Same
shit.
for Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man, but depending on the author, it's bad.
I'd say to read, I'd have to go with Batman.
Batman's pretty awesome.
Batman has such good storylines, and how they unfold throughout the novel is just great. Cause especially especially the ones that highlight him investing. It's why I love Court of Owls so much.
When Batman,
because it's
when
him
they
investigating.
Focus on Batman's intellect and not on him just viciously beating people.
There's got to be that
it's
too.
Amazing.
But,
but that's part of it. But like movies never get his intellect right.
Batman vs Superman did a pretty good job.
They were close.
Yeah.
But they also, in some parts,
it was a lot of him beating the shit out of people to death.
The good Batman comics are about why he's a genius.
Yeah.
The animated universe gets it great. When he tricks Darkseid by arming all of his death spores at the same time and is like, if you don't let her go.
When they figure out that he has a contingency plan for every single...
Yeah.
And he has to let them know.
Yeah.
And they're like, doesn't this kind of defeat it? And he's like, I have other ones.
Yeah. Like, that stuff is what makes Batman good. That's what I like reading about Batman.
Yeah. And when he has a contingency plan for himself, he's like, when I ultimately try to kill you all.
Yeah. Yeah. And
this is how you beat me.
Because that's how he says it too, is like, when inevitably I'm possessed or I change my mind and decide you need to die, here's a plan.
So just don't open that until then.
Yeah. Don't read until your life is in danger.
Burn after reading.
And he opens it just as Martha. He's like, why'd you say Martha?
Where'd you learn that name?
Why would you say Martha? Oh my God.
I think that's where we should end it, on Martha.
On Martha. Martha's the end. I'm down with that.
Well then.
Okay. Next week.
I don't know what we're gonna do next week.
We could do the Doctor Strange, Dr. Fate.
Okay.
I still want to dig Civil War, both comics and movies.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I like this whole, like, we don't have much of a plan.
Next week we'll just see what we want to talk about. Yeah. Just see where we go.
This is fun. High fives. High fives to fun.
All right, so if you like this, give us a like or follow or...
Yeah, follow us on all of the audio platforms. This is going to be syndicated also with Age of Radio, like all of our other shows.
Yes.
So that's going to be great. So that'll be everywhere that you find podcasts. We're also going to be on youtube.com/Rum Runnas Entertainment.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure now that we tell Kyle that we've done an episode, there's going to be a Twitter and an Instagram. I'll just throw it up on the screen real quick.
Jared will post up the links for them.
Yeah. Just because I don't know what it's going to be called
We haven't made them yet, so we'll see.
Like I said, this was completely
brand new,
unplanned.
If you liked what we were talking about, if you have thoughts on what we were talking about, if you think Daredevil sucks like I do,
oh my goodness,
please comment down below.
And if you think that Dr. Fate would beat the shit out of Doctor Strange, also comment
down
below.
If you are also wrong with Jared, please comment below and tell us exactly, show us into your mind why you're wrong, and so we know not to live life like that.
Yeah, but while you're here, embrace your fandom.
Yeah,
drop
absolutely.
A like.
Please
share
let us
this
know
with your friends.
What you think. Tell us more. Tell us things you'd like to hear us talk about. If you think something's cool, something we can look into, or something we might know about, please hit us up.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw some links down in the description so that you can try to reach out. We want to build this. Yeah. We love our nerd community. Yeah. We want to build this nerd community. We want to grow with you. We have more stuff planned out in the future for fandom based content. Yeah. So we really want to go with that. So nerd the fuck out, everybody.
I'm Turtle.
I'm Jared.
Have an amazing day.
Peace out.